Hello guys, welcome to the Wars and Weapons channel. Currently, by the time I upload the video, it will be 13th of Farvardin, or the Nature's Day, exactly 13 days after Nowruz. I don't think I actually wished everyone a happy Nowruz. Why do I keep doing that? I forgot to wish you guys a new year. I wish you guys a happy new year during Christmas, and now I forgot it during Nowruz. What the Anyway, let's get on to the actual video. Now, as I said, by the time I upload the video, it will be Nature's Day. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about the actual nature. Because currently on the channel, we have been talking about what faces what on the battlefield. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about the actual battlefield and what is on it and what may be on it. So anyway, let's get on to the actual video. Now, as a tourist or a citizen, nature can be one of the most beautiful scenes within the entire world. But as a soldier, nature can be one of the most terrifying and exactly the worst thing you would ever want to see in your life. Because nature has tons of unpredictable stuff, and the last thing a great strategist wants is to be facing another group that also has a great strategist that can use the element of surprise or the unpredictableness to his advantage. This can cause tons of casualties, exactly like it's just like Vietnam. Due to the fact there were a ton of dense jungles, you could basically hide traps, and you could sometimes ambush forces without them seeing where you're firing from. Well, you can definitely clearly see them because they will be on open field, and you will be covered by bushes, trees, God knows whatever the hell that can be around that area. And actually, this also puts a great impact on morale. Actually, during Vietnam War, not many American soldiers were killed. But the fact that they knew they could get ambushed, or they could be stepped on a trap, or they could be killed at any moment would cause a great decrease in morale, and thus cause less people within the actual US mainland to go and volunteer to fight in Vietnam. So basically, this great impact of morale was the reason the US Army lost, because the US Army actually had a ton of care for their soldiers. Like, they didn't want to have any casualties within their operations. But if Vietnam was facing another country like China or Russia that doesn't care about the life of their soldiers, and basically the only strategy that they have is by hoarding the enemy with as many soldiers as you can, so you can definitely crush them under your numbers. So basically, you can definitely say such a strategy has like no care for the life of your soldiers. But to the fact Americans cared a lot about their soldiers, they saw that this impact of morale is causing the number of their soldiers to decrease, and they were forced to put their soldiers out of Vietnam because protests and within the US mainland about getting our sons killed for almost nothing was happening within the US mainland. So they were forced to take their soldiers from Vietnam and put them in back into the US Army. Anyway, that's the entire war of Vietnam. Now let's actually talk about nature. Nature has tons of impacts on the battlefield and even outside of the battlefield. Inside of the battlefield, it can simply help you hide your soldiers, which is one of the most common strategies we see almost every day. And it can help you sometimes maneuver. I remember in Napoleon Total War, I actually had like a battle with the Spanish, so I had to fight them, but I fought the battle 4 times before I can actually win, because all 3 times I had a wrong strategy because I did not use nature in my favor. But on the 4th battle, I decided to take my troops back and put them like between, there was a hilly area with 2 hills right here. So I put my soldiers over here and put my cavalry over here, and so the cliffs were protecting them from any fire and from the actual enemy seeing them. Due to this fact, once the Spanish attacked, I actually had the ability to go around and attack them from behind. So, and basically that was how I actually won that battle, because I used nature in my favor while using it against the Spanish, because the cliffs were helping me to protect my cavalry from artillery fire, enemy fire, and even from being spotted, and gave them a pretty great time for a flanking maneuver. Basically, on the battlefield, nature has this great ability, and even outside of the battlefield, nature can have some of the worst abilities. Because let's just say logistical problems, you will face tons of logistical problems if you're going to go through a dense forest, if you're going to go through northern snowy land, you will definitely face tons of logistical problems, and you will definitely face the fact that your soldiers are cold, So they will definitely need tons of more supplies than what they would need in like warmer areas such as like Middle East. No, Middle East is actually too hot. Like some areas that actually have like a balanced temperature, they would need a ton more equipment such as blankets, coats, and other things. But you would actually have a hard time to put your trucks going through the snow and actually deliver them to your soldiers. Now, on the battlefield, snow and terrain also has a pretty great effect because you've been talking about nature, only about like trees and bushes, and that you can hide your soldiers inside of them. Now we're going to talk about snow, deserts, and other things. So, well, snow is basically something that we all face off almost like every year, and it's fun. But as a soldier, snow can be one of the worst things you would ever want to face on a battlefield or even outside of a battlefield because, as I said, you'll face tons of logistical problems, and even on the battlefield, if you're in somewhere like Russia where they train their troops according to the terrain, you will face tons of problems because like you will keep slipping in the snow if there is ice, and you will just keep getting your feet stuck under the snow because I heard that in winters there is a ton of snow in areas around Russia and Canada and basically northern countries. So you'll keep getting your feet stuck, you'll keep slipping, and you basically are not going to have a great time. Also, snow also ruins your gun, making it more likely to jam. So you definitely wouldn't want snow or anything else on your gun. So that will basically make it extremely hard. Also, soldiers carry extremely heavy backpacks, and if they were to slip on ice, there might never be a chance of getting up unless they have unless they find a way to take off all of their gear and then get off. So basically, that's just how snow affects things. Deserts, on the other hand, are extremely harsher conditions because due to hot conditions, most of your equipment is going to overheat over and over and over again, thus facing a ton more jams and also making maintenance cost a lot more. But fortunately, deserts don't have the impact of logistical problems unless like you get caught in a sandstorm, which you won't know which direction you're going and which direction you have to go. So you'll usually have to use a compass or something because it will be extremely hard to navigate in deserts because there's almost no road inside of a desert, just like it is not on these snowy terrains. And if you get caught in a sandstorm, it can be one of the worst days in your life. In fact, during World War I, weathers were extremely hot. They're so hot that you could basically bake like an omelet on a tank. That's basically how hot it would get because the sun would basically almost vertically shine at the African desert. So you would be able to cook yourself an egg on a tank armor. Now this also means that your soldiers will be extremely hot and like hypothermia. I don't remember the name. I think there were two sicknesses related to this. There was one about cold and there was one about heat. And definitely I don't remember the name of the one for the heat nor the one for the cold. I just remember that they had a pretty similar name. That's basically all I remember. And basically that'll be a great danger if your soldiers don't take off their jackets and their armor that they're wearing, which makes them extremely which makes them extremely prone to becoming hyperthermic. And they also, if they take off their armor and their jackets, they will be easier to shoot down because they have basically no armor protecting them from being shot down. And due to this factor, your soldiers will also face a pretty hard time in deserts, in mountains, and in deserts. Mountains are one of the worst things to ever be facing off. Such as if you have ever seen Swiss, you will see that there are like tons of mountains. It's extremely beautiful. It's nature. But as a soldier, if you're fighting in Swiss, it's gonna be like hell, and just because there's tons of mountains. You'll have to climb a lot. You'll have to watch out because ambushes can come at any time, at any direction. Because unlike flat terrain, you can get shot from down and like from up. This makes combat a lot harder because your soldiers definitely are always in risk of getting ambushed, and that also logistics won't have a great time going up a mountain. Besides that, if your trucks actually fall off a mountain, you will not only lose all the supplies that was in the truck, you will also lose a truck. That will definitely be a pretty bad thing. So you can use helicopters, but as I said, it's mountains and they will definitely be guarded. So your helicopters will also may have a hard time going through Mountain ranges because they can be shut down at any time, and if a helicopter is shut down in the middle of nowhere, recovering the supplies and the helicopter will be extremely hard. And so is the same for the trucks, because like it's mountains, and like mountains are usually snowy as well. So fighting in mountains with snow is going to be extremely harder than fighting in like flat terrain with snow, or just basically mountains without snow, which makes combat a lot harder. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Also, I wish you guys a happy Nowruz if I haven't already. Thank you guys for watching again. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the war bell to be notified of the rest of the wars that will occur on the channel later. Thank you guys for watching again, and stand by for the next video.